We usually assume that pushing our bodies through daily, high-intensity cardio guarantees a pristine, disease-free cardiovascular system. In 2008, researchers examined 108 seemingly healthy marathon runners and found the opposite of that assumption. These men, who had completed multiple marathons, actually possessed higher levels of hard, calcified arterial plaque than their sedentary peers. This finding was verified by the Cooper Clinic in 2017. Tracking 21,000 participants over a decade, the results showed that men logging the highest volumes of weekly exercise consistently exhibited the highest prevalence of coronary atherosclerosis, or plaque buildup. This split-screen chart illustrates the paradox. The line on the left plots coronary plaque volume going up as lifelong exercise increases, but the line on the right shows cardiovascular mortality drastically dropping at those same high exercise volumes. This leaves us with a difficult question. If an endurance athlete possesses the elite fitness of a 20-year-old, but the plaque-filled arteries of a 70-year-old, does that physical plaque actually pose a lethal threat? Initially, cardiologists proposed a comforting theory. In 2017, researchers suggested that athletes were safe because their intense training produced a specific, stable type of calcified plaque. Unlike soft plaque, calcified plaque rarely ruptures to cause a heart attack. That theory held until 2023. A European research group called the Master at Heart Consortium published a comprehensive study specifically designed to verify if this stable plaque protection was actually present in high-volume athletes. Comparing lifelong athletes to sedentary controls, this matrix reveals athletes carried a higher burden of both stable calcium and unstable, non-calcified plaque. Crucially, athletes had more non-calcified plaques in proximal segments, the main arterial branches closest to the heart, where rupture is most lethal. Yet, the data remains conflicted. Despite carrying a heavy burden of this volatile, high-risk plaque, these lifelong athletes still do not suffer higher rates of cardiac events than the general population. Since the anatomical plaque itself is just as dangerous as the plaque found in a sedentary person, the athlete's survival likely involves a different mechanism. The heart alters its own physical structure to endure the load. Knowing this, how should an athlete actually measure their cardiovascular risk when traditional medical assumptions fail? The standard tool in preventive cardiology is the Coronary Artery Calcium Score, or CAC. It provides a fast, low-radiation snapshot of your heart, but it only detects hard, calcified plaque. Comparing CAC scores against advanced CCTA imaging reveals a severe diagnostic blind spot. 13% of symptomatic athletes with a 0 CAC score still possess hidden soft plaque. You need a CCTA to directly visualize both stable and unstable plaque. Upgrading to a CCTA comes with trade-offs. It requires iodinated contrast injections, costs significantly more, and requires specialized high-resolution scanning technology. For the high-performance athlete, a clean CAC score does not guarantee healthy arteries. The CCTA is the only scan that reveals the true architectural state of your coronary vessels. So, if scans reveal high volumes of soft plaque, why doesn't an athlete's heart fail during a marathon? The answer involves a mathematical concept, the Plaque-to-Vessel Ratio. This is why athletes survive. Decades of intense endurance exercise force the cardiovascular system to physically remodel itself. Over time, the baseline size of the coronary arteries permanently expands. This creates massive vasodilatory capacity. An athletic artery develops a superior ability to stretch and widen on demand whenever the heart requires a massive influx of oxygen. In a narrow, sedentary artery, a plaque deposit blocks 70% of blood flow, but a larger athletic artery holds the exact same plaque volume while blocking only 20%. When sprinting, the athletic artery stretches even wider, neutralizing the atherosclerosis threat. Extreme fitness does not prevent the disease. Instead, it acts as a structural survival mechanism that outpaces the very plaque it creates. When athletes discover their plaque, they often resist traditional medical interventions. Their entire identity is built on the belief that peak fitness makes them invincible to disease. Many try to self-treat by simply cutting back on their miles. However, detraining does not fully reverse existing plaque. dropping your exercise volume only sacrifices the mortality-lowering benefits of your fitness. The primary medical tool used by cardiologists is a statin. These are lipid-lowering medications designed to aggressively drop LDL cholesterol, the particles that form plaque, and harden existing volatile lesions. Prescribing lifelong pharmaceuticals to healthy-feeling runners creates conflict. You have to weigh the potential side effects, like muscle aches, against the absolute clinical necessity of stabilizing a diseased artery. For those seeking non-pharmaceutical options, a whole food plant-based diet stands as the most aggressive, scientifically validated intervention available to an athlete. This diet triggers a dual mechanism. It drastically lowers systemic LDL cholesterol while simultaneously flooding your blood vessel walls with natural nitric oxide, a molecule that helps the arteries dilate even further. Athletes must move past the idea that running cures everything. Aggressive dietary shifts or pharmaceutical interventions are mandatory tools required to manage your anatomical reality. Map your risk with the action matrix. Left, asymptomatic with 0 CAC. Monitor and maintain training. Center, symptoms present. Ignore the 0 score and get a CCTA immediately. Right, high CAC. Start lipid-lowering medicine and a dietary overhaul to stabilize your vessels. It is a grave danger for either a physician or a patient to dismiss a high calcium score as merely benign athletic calcification without investigating further. This data provides endurance athletes with the necessary information to manage the physical consequences of their training without having to stop running. Plaque is an objective disease marker, but cardiovascular fitness is a structural survival mechanism. Use the CCTA to map your specific threat, use medicine to stabilize it, and use your diet to widen the path around it.